California is often praised as a dreamland with stunning coastlines, but behind the shine of Hollywood and Silicon Valley lies a dark history frozen in time. From heavily contaminated military bases to mining towns built atop piles of corpses, we will dissect the darker side of the Golden State. To be clear, this is not just another ghost story. This is a journey into places where real danger, bloody history, and environmental tragedy merge into a deeply unsettling atmosphere. Now let us explore the 15 creepiest small towns in California. We begin with a town that seems completely unthreatening at first glance. Victorville is a growing city in the high desert, known for its location in the Mojave River Valley of Southern California. But wait until you learn that it is home to one of the most dangerous and frightening sites in the area, George Air Force Base. Built in 1941, the base was once a fully self-contained and highly active military city. Since its closure in 1992, it has become an apocalyptic zone. What makes it terrifying is not just the decaying buildings, but its status as one of the most toxic sites in the United States. The soil and groundwater are heavily contaminated with jet fuel, trichloroethylene, and other hazardous chemicals. Urban explorers often report an oppressive feeling inside the abandoned schools and theaters on the former base. Here, graffiti covers peeling walls, while military documents from the Cold War era still lie scattered across the floors. The horror here is invisible, an unseen threat capable of killing through cancer and chronic illness, which medical reports say have affected many former residents. Leaving behind the remnants of military pollution, we head toward the Sierra Nevada mountains. Here stands Bodie, the true definition of an American ghost town. Sitting at an elevation of around 8,375 feet, this former gold mining town was once home to more than 10,000 people in the 1870s. Bodie was infamous for its brutal lawlessness. Gunfights and bloody brawls reportedly occurred almost daily in its saloons. Today, Bodie is preserved in a state of arrested decay. The most chilling aspect is the legend of the body curse. Park rangers frequently receive packages containing rocks, nails, or shards of glass mailed back by tourists who previously stole them. They claim that after taking items from Bodie, their lives were struck by relentless misfortune. Inside the town, houses still contain full furniture, even remnants of food on tables, as if the residents vanished in an instant out of fear. If Bodie is a town abandoned in silence, the next location is where physical violence was once part of daily life. Cerro Gordo sits high in the Inyo Mountains as a former silver mining town cut off from the world. During its peak, it was known as the most dangerous place in California. With no law enforcement, murders occurred almost weekly. Miners even placed sandbags around their beds to protect themselves from stray bullets fired during fights outside. Today, the site is often associated with strange occurrences, including reports of children's laughter echoing from underground mines and shadowy figures appearing in the windows of the old hotel. Cerro Gordo feels deeply oppressive due to its position high above the clouds, surrounded by thousands of dark, unstable mine shafts that hold the secrets of miners who were buried alive and never recovered. From the cold mountain heights, we descend to the lowest and most death-ridden place in California. This is Bombay Beach, once a high-end vacation destination for celebrities. However, an ecological disaster in the 1970s turned it into a nightmare. The sharply rising salinity of the Salton Sea killed millions of fish, whose carcasses piled up along the shoreline, and rotted under the desert sun. Today, the town looks like the set of a post-apocalyptic horror film. The floors of homes here are not covered in carpet, but in layers of dried fish and bird bones. The air in Bombay Beach carries toxic dust from the exposed lakebed, filled with decades of pesticide residue. The remains of sunken structures and decaying carpets add a deep sense of sorrow mixed with real terror for anyone who dares to stop by. Yes, walking here feels like breathing in death. Speaking of terrifying smells, nothing compares to this small town. Trona is often called the ugliest town in California, but creepy is a far more accurate word. Sitting on the edge of the dried salt lake Searles Lake, the entire town is surrounded by massive chemical plants, releasing a sharp sulfur stench, an odor commonly associated with hell. The scenery is deeply dystopian. Cracked wooden houses, a football field made of bare dirt because grass cannot grow, and a pale white landscape from salt deposits. Trona is also eerily quiet, and its geographic isolation makes anyone feel trapped. Many buildings were abandoned after damage from the 2019 earthquake, leaving behind skeletal structures that resemble screaming faces. But if you are looking for a place where you feel watched from the darkness, Amboy is the answer. Standing alone along one of the emptiest stretches of Route 66 in the Mojave Desert, Amboy is a tiny town with a population of fewer than 5 people. Its main icon is Roy's Motel and Cafe, with its massive neon sign rising out of nothingness. Though iconic, the atmosphere here is deeply liminal and unsettling. Amboy is often linked to stories of desert cults passing through or people going missing. At night, the darkness is incredibly thick, and the only light comes from Roy's building, glowing like a false oasis. Daytime temperatures that can reach 50 degrees Celsius often cause hallucinations in exhausted travelers. It is no surprise that many feel Amboy is a place where reality itself begins to fade. From the silence of the desert emerges a tourist town that hides a powerful paranormal side. Although it now operates as a regional park, Calico has unsettling roots as a silver mining town founded in 1881. When silver prices collapsed, the town was completely abandoned, becoming a true ghost town for decades before being restored. However, its former residents are said to have never truly left. Yes, the most feared area is Maggie's Mine. Visitors and staff frequently report seeing shadowy figures of miners carrying oil lamps through the dark tunnels. What makes this even more disturbing is that Calico's structures are largely original, and many believe the aged building materials have absorbed residual energy from harsh times, when disease and mining accidents claimed the lives of children and workers month after month. Horror in California does not always come from spirits. Sometimes it comes from twisted human ideology. This is one of the darkest chapters in Northern California's history. Synanon was originally founded as a drug rehabilitation program, but it gradually transformed into a dangerous cult under the leadership of Charles Dederick. In the remote area of Tamales Bay, they built a compound cut off from the outside world. Its terror stems from the documented violence that took place within these buildings. Members were forced to shave their heads, cut ties with their families, and endure brutal psychological game sessions. Although the buildings have since been repurposed, the legacy of mental manipulation and physical abuse still leaves a heavy, dark aura that local residents can feel. Moving away from human psychological horror, we arrive at the town of Locke. It is the only town in the United States built entirely by Chinese immigrants, founded in 1915. Located along the Sacramento River, the town features distinctive wooden architecture that appears fragile and leaning. Its streets are extremely narrow, barely wide enough for a single car, creating an intense sense of claustrophobia. The atmosphere is eerily quiet, as if time stopped during the Prohibition era of the 1920s. The creepiness here is subtle. The damp smell of old wood, long shadows cast between tightly packed buildings, and stories of underground tunnels once used for illegal gambling and opium dens. As the sun sets, Locke turns into a silent wooden labyrinth where every footstep echoes through the entire town. And speaking of history, we cannot skip the place that marked the beginning of America's gold madness. Coloma is where James Marshall first discovered gold at Sutter's Mill, triggering the legendary gold rush. But behind that wealth lay massive suffering. Thousands arrived with great hopes, yet many ended up dead from cholera, exposure, or violent land disputes. The horror centers on the Pioneer Cemetery, tucked into the surrounding hills. Many gravestones are unnamed, marking forgotten gold seekers whose fates were erased by time. Locals often report sightings of James Marshall haunting his old cabin, appearing restless, perhaps because despite finding gold, he died in poverty. The energy of disappointment and desperation from centuries ago still seems to cling to the soil of Coloma. There are also places where the fear comes not from the ground, but from the sky, an unexplained phenomena. Near Joshua Tree National Park, 29 Palms is a desert town with a strange reputation. Beyond its extreme heat and isolation, the town is considered a hotspot for paranormal activity and UFO sightings. The town carries an unusually heavy atmosphere and statistically higher violent crime rates than surrounding desert communities. There are numerous reports of people who felt called to walk into the desert, only to disappear without a trace. The combination of nearby secret military installations, Native American history that considers the land sacred, and mysterious nighttime lights makes 29 Palms deeply unsettling for those who are sensitive to such energies. Meanwhile, Nevada City may look like a charming mountain town, yet it holds the title of one of the most haunted towns in Northern California. The reason lies in a place called the National Hotel, one of the oldest continuously operating hotels in the state. The unsettling aspect here is the sheer number of eyewitnesses who report seeing the woman in white, along with a small child running through the hotel corridors. More than just ghost stories, walking through the downtown area at night creates a sensation of being watched, from behind the tall, dark windows of Victorian-era buildings looming overhead. If human ghosts feel too ordinary for you, how about a town being consumed by minerals? Located in a dry valley near Red Rock Canyon, Saltdale is known for visuals that are genuinely disturbing. Yes, this is a ghost town that is not only abandoned, but actively being destroyed by nature itself. Due to extreme humidity and high salt content from a nearby lake, minerals crystallize deep within the wooden fibers of the buildings. As a result, homes in Saltdale appear bleached white, like rotting human skeletons. The salt literally tears the walls apart from the inside. Standing here creates an overwhelming sense of emptiness. There are no birds, no insects, only the sound of wood slowly cracking as salt crystals expand. Saltdale is a reminder that nature can reclaim human civilization in the slowest and most painful way possible. Sometimes the most frightening danger is the neighbor next door. Hemet and its small neighboring town, Anza, have a dark side rarely mentioned in travel brochures. This region is known as a hiding place for various fringe groups, ranging from hidden drug labs to heavily armed extremist compounds. On dusty dirt roads at the outskirts of town, you might pass tall gates wrapped in barbed wire. There is a strong atmosphere of suspicion toward outsiders. Numerous missing person cases in the surrounding Anza Mountains were never solved, reinforcing the area's reputation as a place where the law often does not apply, and secrets are buried deep behind dry brush. Finally, we arrive at a town that feels sweet by day but casts long shadows from its past. Across California, Julian is famous for its apple pies and peaceful mountain setting. Yet for historians, Julian is the site of some of the bloodiest conflicts during the mining era. The town was founded after the Civil War by Confederate veterans, bringing racial tension and old grudges into these hills. Its most unsettling aspect lies in the Eagle and High Peak mines. Many visitors report sudden cold chills and rhythmic knocking sounds coming from the mine walls. Sounds once called Tommyknockers by old miners, spirits believed to warn or deliberately mislead people in the darkness. Behind the warmth of apple pie shops lies a long history of family feuds and deadly workplace accidents, leaving Julian with a lingering mystery that is hard to explain. These are the 15 small towns in California that offer far more than beautiful scenery. They offer glimpses into tragedy, failure, and unresolved mystery. From the chemically poisoned grounds of George Air Force Base to the mystical curse of Bodie, these places prove that history never truly dies. It simply waits in silence. In the end, they remind us that California's beauty often stands on fragile ground, layered with secrets beneath the surface.